But we're recording. I forgot to say that.
Okay,
So
cool.
anything you say can and will be held against you in a court of pitch. I've been practicing.
That's pretty good.
You do get better every week.
Incrementally.
Better,
It's hard to measure, but you are getting better.
better or drunker, either one. We're not sure. Ladies and gentlemen, what a special day it is here on Elevator Pitch. We are here to salute and honor a great American man of cinema. We're talking about Harrison Ford. We're pitching to Harrison Ford. In the year 1989, you heard him grunt while he sipped a Ricky right there. I could not do it with anyone else. I'm here with U.S. Marshal Will Peters.
Hey, you're under arrest.
And as always, as well, Harrison Ford.
He's here every episode.
And yeah, this is Elevator Pitch. Let's get rocking. So we're talking about Harrison Ford because of his brave new movie that came out, Captain America: Brave New World, a movie, the second time that's ever happened on this podcast where we've decided confidently to record an episode without having seen the movie. The first time being Blink Twice / Pussy Island, which we just completely didn't see as well. Yeah,
We didn't all not see the movie.
thank you. Before Harrison Ford is here, he's been put to sleep in a headlock by Tanner just for the moment. He's been punched by Tanner.
Me and Matt decided to take a stand against corporate America.
Yeah.
But producer Tanner knows no bounds, and he went and he just ate up that slop like nobody's business.
So we're going to introduce a new segment right off the top here. Segment I thought of 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Called Tanner's 2 Minutes. How do you like that?
I'm into it. I mean, I'm not a stranger to trying out names. The pitch addendum is still...
Yeah, pitch addendum. I like pitch stitch better than pitch addendum.
I did too, but a lot of hate in the comments.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a secret comments section I'm not aware of?
Nah, just comments I get on the street. People walk up to me, they know.
We have a much more outward fan base. Like
really?
They're out in the public. Our fan base is not online very much. So thank you, all of
More
you.
OJ.
I'm trying.
Believe me.
We got an apple juice pod over here, and
Like,
I'm asking
pitch
for
stitch
everything.
sucks. But Tanner, you did go see Brave New World.
Yeah.
I did.
That stars Harrison Ford as the president of the United States / a Red Hulk.
Yes.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, you could tell us what you thought about the movie.
Give it to us.
Captain America: Make America Great Again is the story of Captain America trying to prove his sleeper agent best friend's innocence while also investigating a corrupt force overtaking the government. All while trying to balance not having a single love interest through the entire movie. I think it was around the time that Grammy Award winner, and that's true, Tim Blake Nelson turned himself over to the United States military, announcing in full Halloween quality spirit of Halloween getup that he was indeed the Brainiac from his cameo in the original Edward Norton William Hurt Hulk movie, that I realized, I am Tim Blake Nelson. I am holding on to a Norton Hurt world when I need to accept that I am living in the harsh reality of a Ruffalo Ford future. I think everyone is in the same boat too, holding on to a simpler, pre-multiverse reality when superheroes fighting terrorists and bug people really meant something.
Yeah.
We as a society are in an abusive relationship with Marvel movies. Walking out of that movie was the most bummed crowd I've ever seen. They had all been promised Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. But when they got it, they realized that's not really what they needed. But I loved the movie. It was the best movie I've ever seen. 10 out of 10. Can't wait for the next one. I heard Ant-Man is actually going to get even bigger in the next one.
Ant-Man's going big.
Ant-Man's going even bigger.
And you did it with 3 seconds to spare.
Wow.
That best anything Siskel or Ebert
Wait.
or John Lovitz as the critic ever did.
I'm confused though, Tanner. So you agree with the critiques of this much maligned but profitable movie,
Yeah.
but also support the brave new world that we're entering into with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have
Do
to
you see
remember.
how you see how those conflict with each other?
No.
Okay.
You'll have to remember that Tanner's never hated a movie before, except that one time.
Which movie?
We don't talk about it.
Okay.
It's not right
Bad.
to talk about.
This is just bad podcasting if we don't.
Yeah.
But okay,
Tanner-
so slop as I've seen from the New York Magazine. That's kind of how you would, and you're a slop enthusiast though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But truly, one of the I feel like there's a if we ever do an episode about Tommy Wiseau, we can probably really get into.
We have a better chance of him being here to do that episode before we do it without him.
I love a so bad it's good movie.
Yeah.
Nothing more disappointing than a movie that's so bad that it's bad and you feel it the whole time and it feels like the longest thing you've ever been a part of.
Wait, so now you don't like it?
No. This was, in fact, and I want everyone to keep me on record. You can look at my Letterboxd. One of the best movies I've ever seen.
I know he's on Letterboxd.
10 out of 10.
Secret.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the next one. I heard that the Hulk is going to be an even different color in this one, and you don't know which one it's going
They're
to be.
going magenta. You get a little lighter.
They're doing purple Hulk.
Thanner, thank you for doing the work.
Yeah, thank you for doing the work, Tanner.
I know that it wasn't easy to do what you did. In fact,
And by that we mean read and write.
which is something that's far outside your skill set. Mm-hmm. And I know that you were scared and lonely doing this, though millions of people did it with you this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of people. I think I made $100 million.
I think it made like 100. I think it was like
12?
100 something.
135.
A lot.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money.
136.
106.
106?
106.
He doesn't
Okay.
know. He doesn't know what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean
look
it's
at Don't listen to him.
yeah, it's like I'm very much in a bubble of like only having a relationship with this movie through the, fake news media of big podcasting, except for Tanner here, who is now voiced his support with it. So
Yeah.
To quote one of my contemporaries, how are you going to hate from the outside of the club?
yeah.
You can't even get in.
And by the club, we were referencing the Red Hulk led White House. in this.
Bingo,
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This I gotta
don't
say,
belong.
I heard somebody say this is a movie where a very controversial president is elected and beats up the first black Captain America, and also simultaneously says absolutely nothing political, nothing.
Interesting.
Like truly has the least. It feels like a movie that wants to be political. It wants to have these takes. Like you watch the movie and you can feel like to get into it. The original Captain America before Steve Rogers was a black man that was
In the comics or in the movies?
in the movie. Like he's in this movie. He was a black man that was like experimented on, tested on against his will. And then that's how they got the serum prepared for Steve Rogers, the Captain America we all know and love.
Yeah.
known whitewasher Chris Evans.
But like that is such a intensely political thing to put in a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you watch this movie and it's like, it says nothing. It truly is like, wow, it's crazy. You guys went, when you guys had the choice to make a choice, you went, what if we don't make a choice? What if we do absolutely nothing with this concept?
Yeah, they talked about that a little bit on The Big Picture when I was
really?
listening to that. Yeah, they were saying how little it has anything to do with politics for being a political thriller.
Yeah. Interesting.
But let's turn back the clock here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of this is just a ruse for us to be able to talk about Harrison Ford.
One of our favorites.
Yeah, a hero, legend of the pregame, if you will.
He would define himself as that.
He has before, and
Get out of my
Harrison,
pregame.
Harrison Ford is the man.
Yeah.
and I'm really excited to talk about him in this period. We decided to go back in time to 1989, and we're going to try to keep ourselves contained.
Yeah, so for the listeners out there, obviously Harrison Ford has had like a 50-year career in movies at this point, a little
Storied.
over that. Yeah, and you know, could be said as, you know, the defining movie star of the 20th century if you wanted to go that far. If you wanted to make that argument, you probably could. If you
definitely could. Yeah.
But we are going to be talking about him at a time that we kind of thought was the most interesting in his career. The year is 1989, as you said.
Bingo.
This is a time that, like, and a lot of times when we pitch, it's kind of a breaking point, either good or bad in someone's career. This point of Harrison's career is neither good nor bad because it was just all good for about 35 years or so.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. I mean, we're coming out of his kind of late 70s, 80s defining tentpole Steven Spielbergification. I just said Steven Spielbergification of kind of Hollywood, which he is basically the flag bearer of, being in Indiana Jones and Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And then takes a different turn into the 90s, as movies do as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I always forget that Harrison Ford, he got a later start than typical, like at least than like his stardom, I think, in comparison to a lot of other actors that we consider like A-listers. Like at this point in time, Harrison is in his mid 40s already, like in 1989.
Yeah.
And throughout the 90s, like, and you can see his age. He ages wonderfully, but he's playing older
in the
characters
Fugitive,
too.
He dyes his hair brown because it's gray.
Yeah, he's like, he's
know?
not trying to hide it. He's not trying to be like,
as the Fugitive.
yeah, of course. But Harrison Ford was very much playing like roles that were fit for his age, and he continued to make them cool, or at least like invigorating and appealing for people to watch and to seek out. Whether or not those characters especially after Indiana Jones, even though Indiana Jones and Han Solo, like, they're not invincible characters. They're not superheroes.
Absolutely not.
That's a big thing about all of his characters. But I think you really see it once he hits like this point in time where he's doing he's playing very like heroes, but also very, very
grounded.
human,
Yeah.
grounded heroes, which is really interesting. Like he could easily be defeated.
Yeah.
But he rarely is.
Speak for yourself.
Get out of my elevator.
Jack Trainer
Jack Trainer.
Jack Trainer.
from Working Girl.
Oh,
That's him.
I didn't know his last name was Trainer in that.
Yeah, that's my last name.
That's a legend performance of his in that
He's
one.
great in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he changes in the office, starts clapping for him.
I think about it all the time, actually. It's an unbelievable
that
scene.
devilish smirk.
Woo!
If that version of Harrison character would be like the most insane supporting character in Mad Men. I always think about that when I watch that, even though it's like 20 years earlier, and a TV show, and
Sure.
the TV show's in 2010. Anyway,
Let's forget about that. Yeah.
I think that it's this vulnerability that you're talking about, which is kind of interesting. That if you look at people like contemporaries of his, whether it's like Sylvester Stallone or even like a Schwarzenegger,
Yeah.
we're kind of around that same age.
Yeah, totally.
And, we're making blockbusters in the 80s and then into the 90s. Like, there's things in their contract where they're like, well, they can't get punched a certain way, and they can't, they basically want to portray themselves, mythologize themselves as superhuman.
Yeah.
Harrison
Stallone
Ford,
especially, I feel like. Schwarzenegger too, but like he did have the body to kind of back that up a
Yes,
little bit.
yeah.
But Stallone definitely like was juicing up until probably yesterday. Like
I mean, he's got season 2 of
Tulsa King.
Toledo Man. Yeah, what's it called? Tulsa King.
Yeah, he's the king of Tulsa and the Prince of Toledo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's simultaneously starring
In two different shows
Toledo
with Taylor
Prince.
Sheridan. Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like that kind of vulnerability that's pretty apparent. I mean, especially Presumed Innocence, which I'll tell you all about.
Please do.
I mean, essentially, Presumed Innocence is a movie where he's playing a guy who cheated on his wife, and that's not giving anything away about the movie, but cheated on his wife, and really became like desperately crazed to keep that affair going. He was basically kind of like he fell under the spell of a really, really attractive woman in that movie. And like, I just don't know of anyone, especially as cool as Harrison Ford, one of the coolest ever, would basically do a performance where he's like begging on his knees as much as that. But it's kind of normal for him to do that. I mean, in The Fugitive, I mean, they're just like, book him, you know?
Yeah.
He's pleading, you know? He's just pleading. He's on his knees.
Getting tossed around.
Yeah.
He's always getting tossed around, and he's always annoyed. He's a great aggravated guy. Like, and it's for an audience, like shit happens to Harrison Ford in movies where you're like, yeah, that would piss me off.
Because that would happen to you.
Yeah, because somebody would be like, you killed your wife, and I'd be like, no, one-armed man did it. And
I didn't kill my wife.
Exactly. I mean, he's so good at being like annoyed and aggravated that leads to this like usually this climactic payoff of like
the morality gets in the way.
Yeah. I think we're kind of like to dial it in. Like we wanted to focus on, we said 1989, but kind of looking at like a, you know, almost a 10-year span from like 1985.
Yeah, starting with Witness.
Starting with Witness, which is his first, and I didn't realize his only Academy Award nomination.
Only Academy Award, his horniest work ever.
Yeah, he's horny.
But yeah, it's only Academy Award. And speaking of the big picture, Sean Fennessy did point this out when they did that Hall of Fame for him, that it's his first movie set in present day, which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy thing to think about. Blade Runner and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff.
Because from that point on, then he
for starring role.
Sure,
set in present day. Yeah.
Because from that point on, he lives in the present.
Even American Graffiti, it's 20 years before. Yes, and then in the 90s, what we're talking about, he lives in it, right?
It's very contemporary, and very adult oriented. Like he kind of leaves the genre like tropes and the kind of the serial element behind.
Great way to describe it. Yeah.
And goes into like one-off adult dramas in various ways, whether it's a thriller, it is like a. I mean, Frantic is full on a like Hitchcock level thriller from Roman Polanski, or he's doing like Regarding Henry, which is kind of like a melodramatic like.
Have you seen Regarding Henry?
I only know about it.
Yeah, I only know about it. I've only heard legend.
Yeah, I've only heard tale, and the tales that are told are typically very poor. But
such a good name for a movie.
Yeah,
that would be like that. Like sounds like a name of like one of your or my like pitches for.
Yeah, Regarding Henry.
I don't know. It's fucking Regarding Henry.
I don't know. His name's Henry. Regard him.
But
please.
Yeah, you're right. Fine.
So it's like he's just like doing varying degrees of like adult movies, and doing them, and himself, at least in this span, doing them really, really well. Like he's
better than anyone else, I would argue.
Yeah. And he's always giving it his all. I think it's like after Air Force One, and maybe even starting with Air Force One, I think you start to see him become a lot more bored. Like Air Force One is like that first, to me in this first stretch where it's like Harrison Ford is the president. He's still undergoing a lot in that movie, but it kind of feels like he's like a little bit of a superhero president.
I actually, and I don't, people are going to hate us for saying this because I have a sneaky feeling you agree with it. I think Harrison Ford's fun in Air Force One. I think it's a really fun movie, and like it's obviously got it's got a lot of classic lines and shit. Some of you I've made 2 jokes about already. I don't think I would rather watch number of these movies we're going to talk about over Air Force One any day of the week.
Yeah,
and he is essentially, like you're saying, more committed to a performance in like even like a Jack Ryan movie, which is pretty similar in kind of like driven by patriotic ethics. You know what I mean? But they're just more kind of rich text to build from.
Yeah, I want to talk about the Jack Ryan movies actually because
you want to get into it right now.
Can we?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Don't ask me.
So let me ask them. Can we?
No.
Oh, that's the Tom Clancy Facebook fan club right there.
It's Tom Clancy himself. We're bringing another dead guy in here.
If Tom Clancy and Harrison Ford were just like smoking cigars and drinking scotch in the elevator,
they'd probably kiss.
We'd
probably kiss.
They'd
probably kiss.
With tongue.
We would.
With tongue.
Yeah.
To get into the Jack Ryan movies, so first let me say on record, I've never seen The Hunt for Red October.
That's incredible. You've never seen that movie. I can lend it to you on physical if you want.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I got it.
It's also available on Hoopla. Hoopla has currently the whole Jack Ryan collection.
I love Hoopla because we both watched the Jack Ryan movies over the weekend on Hoopla. The quality on Hoopla is not great though.
It's not very good.
Yeah, it looks like they scanned the DVDs from like the Dixon Library in Culver City and then just uploaded it to
sure, put it online.
The Juanita Dixon Library.
I love it.
Anyway.
But so I haven't seen Hunt for Red October. and my only exposure to the Jack Ryan character is purely through, and my only exposure to Tom Clancy is through video games, like through Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six.
So I didn't know about this because I wasn't a video game guy.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me that there's
like the world of Tom Clancy to me growing up is that it's just like knockoff Call of Duty. And so, as a kid, like especially like in the Xbox PS2 era, like those games, I mean, they made like 7 Tom Clancy games a year.
and his
series.
name was always on them, right?
Yeah, Tom Clancy, Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, all of it.
Should we pitch video games to Tom Clancy in a future episode?
God, that'd be fun.
It's funny you say that, and
yeah.
keep going with what you're going to say, but I just wanted to interrupt for a second. Yeah. My dad crushed Tom Clancy books.
My dad tried to. He said they were too detailed. He said they go too deep.
That's my dad's bag.
Yeah.
No, but no, it's funny that he like would always have these books on his bookshelf. He'd be reading them or whatever, and they're really thick books.
They're big books.
Yeah, they're 700-page books, including the Jack. He's written a ton of Jack Ryan books.
Yeah,
and the funny thing is that those movies, which are very like programmable, you could see them on AMC. I rotated. Like I would just be doing homework at like 15 and be like, "Oh, Patriot Games is on."
Yeah,
but they're like really dense. Those movies.
They are.
They're really dense. They're like novelization realized movies.
That's what I was gonna say. So those movies really caught me off guard. I hadn't seen Patriot Games or Clear and Present Danger.
2 of my favorites, by the way, for anyone listening.
I really liked both of them, and I was honestly surprised at least at Patriot Games. Reputation on Letterboxd, at least.
What is it?
The community's very cold on them, or the community is very 2.5, 3-star. On
yeah,
it.
my friend of the pod, Austin Good, hates. He has like a 500-word long despising Patriot Games review on Letterboxd.
Oh,
yeah. Shout out to you, Austin Good.
Thanks, Austin.
But yeah, no, I think that movie, it starts off a little slow after the initial kind of attack in London, but. I don't understand that. I don't understand the hate of that movie.
Yeah.
It's got a great boat chase at the end of it.
Great boat chase.
I mean, I'm all in on any time. You know, if you haven't seen Patriot Games, Harrison Ford is a retired CIA analyst who teaches like maritime war tactics at the Naval Academy in Annapolis.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, he's followed by the IRA. I mean,
It happens.
Turn off this podcast right now and turn that on.
It literally happens.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the best description of Patriot Games is from Jamel Bowie,
Friend of the pod
from Letterboxd. His review is, watching this is like wearing the most comfortable sweater you own while eating a warm chocolate chip cookie.
Whoa.
Total cinematic comfort.
I would replace the chocolate chip cookie with
black
protein
coffee
bar
and a
because
burgundy
I work
suit.
out and I'm super strong and I'm Matt Lignato.
Sorry, what'd you say?
You started by saying I would replace the chocolate chip cookie with, and then I came in with the
please tell me
absolute
what you
zinger
said.
of with a protein bar because I'm Matt Lignato and I work out and I'm strong as fuck. I'm less proud of the joke now that we've really made me sit in it
I'm
for a
glad
second.
you brought it up. I wrote, I've written about Harrison Ford on multiple occasions.
Thank you for saying that.
Subscribe to the
Matt.
Pioneer, pioneer.online.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's me.
yeah, you're my website. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pioneer.online. Drinking scotch and kissing Tom Clancy. All right, so I've written about it on multiple occasions. One of the things I wrote was coming off of the. I think I had just watched Clear and Present Danger when I wrote this, or no, I think I had just rewatched. I think like Temple of Doom or something.
Okay,
but that like I was like looking to like get back in the gym and lift weights again because it'd been like years.
Yeah,
and I wrote that I want to like build my workouts around trying to like relook like the Harrison Ford look of like 1992, which basically to me was like just really like a good sturdy frame to like punch the shit out of a guy with.
Yeah.
As opposed to the as opposed to like the wellness kind of culture that we find today. And I think that's like kind of like the lost art of that kind of like really like kind of like sturdiness of a lot of his roles, including those Jack Ryan ones where it's like, I'm just an analyst. You know, I sit at a desk. I've got a kid and like, a house, dope ass house.
Great house.
On the water.
Yeah.
But if I do need to throw a guy off of a boat,
it could be done.
it could be done. Like I'm still built like that.
I have that.
Yeah. In this workout, by the way, I was looking to only consume protein via like meat and legumes, and I could only work out in like mesh shorts.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Who are you?
A legume.
Anyway,
The spokesman for the Legume Corporation.
am I making any sense?
You are making plenty of sense. Actually, too much. But I think, like, all of this, including the legumes,
Yeah.
comes together to, like, I was really thrown off by Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger because Jack Ryan, at least, and I'm also, like, thinking of, like, at least how the Jack Ryan show with John Krasinski is marketed as.
Yeah, a show I have a lot of thoughts on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like how all of that comes together, like my mind of Jack Ryan is really that he was like, I don't know, like that he was much more active than he is in these movies.
Well,
he's far more analytical.
Yes, that's what the show portrays it as, where I think John Krasinski, first of all, is like a perfect candidate to play Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Where he's like bookish and like not completely action oriented.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he only wants to see himself as that action oriented person. Of
course.
Because the second season of that show, I mean, he's on like a Black Ops mission within like the first like 3 minutes. Just like sniping people in Baghdad. And you're like, dude, what? But and then he still goes back and he's like, you can't send me there. I'm just an analyst. I'm like, no, you're not. Dude.
Honestly, you should be in the field. Yeah. You're incredible.
But Jack Ryan historically he's a desk guy who with a marine pass,
right?
You know, and
that can go to those places.
But that's why a 43 however old Harrison Ford is so perfect for that role.
Yeah,
even more than Baldwin. Even though I love Hunt for Red October, but Alec Baldwin. But like never has there been like a piece of intellectual property that I'm more interested in with the perfect person playing him than those movies to me.
Yeah, it's just like that character is so interesting because, and I also think like how we're talking about like with Air Force One, like this character, the Jack Ryan character is far more in conversation with Dr. Richard Kimball than it is like the president in Air Force One, where it's like the president, you're like, he's a former like Medal of Honor winner. Like you're like, I think he could do some damage if he wanted to. And he does throughout the movie. And I mean, you know, eventually, whereas Jack Ryan, you're like, he's very hesitant. Because in Clear and Present Danger, he's like, I don't think I can. James Earl Jones, I don't think I can do what you do.
I think
Which way? What movie?
And that's what he thinks. Yeah.
Is it it's Clear and Present where because he's in the hospital bed.
Yeah.
He's like, you have an oath not to the president.
Yeah.
But to his boss. And you're like, please say the fucking American people. The American people.
Yeah.
And
legume.
I stood up, I flew to the USA Canada Four Nations game, and I punched Connor McDavid in the face.
God, you're good.
Yeah.
You are an American.
Thank you.
Of the States. Yeah. It's really like he's a very like tepid character that then when like he finds himself like in one GMC Suburban that's still standing after 3 have been exploded by a rocket.
Back up.
You're like, that's the only guy I want driving this car, but he would never have been driving it and had the other 3 cars not explode and everyone was dead. Like it's just like he is so interesting at playing like I would almost describe him as like he's an everyman character in the sense that like he plays like seemingly regular guys and like down to earth people, but also every man, and at the sense that every man wants to become Harrison Ford over the course of a movie. Like,
I was gonna ask if we were still talking about John Krasinski.
we are not talking about John Krasinski.
We are not.
Though I have nothing bad to say about John Krasinski.
I don't know him. Yeah. I thought the first season he did of Jack Ryan was good. And we don't have to talk about Jack Ryan. I've also written about Jack Ryan, too, if you have already subscribed in the span of 15 minutes of listening to this.
You know I'm working real hard.
Chris Pine has played Jack Ryan.
That's right.
Didn't work the movie. Mm-hmm. And then also Ben Affleck played Jack Ryan.
That's
in
right.
Sum of All Fears.
Mm-hmm.
And then Krasinski did the show. But yeah, like that inherent quality is something that only he has that those guys don't have.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I like to go back a little bit in time to The Last Crusade, 1980.
Are you
a dinosaur? You guys went way too far back.
he's not in Jurassic Park. Oh, you thought we were going like back in time.
He thought we were going back.
So
back
essentially,
in time.
what I was
no,
thinking,
don't explain.
We got it.
I'm so sick of you.
Tanner, your 2 minutes are up.
To go back in time to Last Crusade.
But yeah,
Go
no,
on.
when in that movie, it's my favorite like opening of those three movies
Yeah.
to me. The River Phoenix, because I just think River Phoenix is so good in that.
Yeah, he's great.
In that train circus thing. But when River Phoenix takes the cross of Monte Cristo, I don't know if I can, but when he takes the cross,
The sandwich?
yeah, no, no,
Not
he
that.
takes the cross from the like guy you think is Harrison Ford because
Yeah.
he's dressed similar to him, and then the guy turns around, it's not Harrison Ford, it's years before that, and the guy is like a fake Harrison Ford. He's like an actor. He's like, I like to think of him as like the actor version of Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Where you're like, if you were to make a Netflix original show about Harrison Ford's life, you'd like cast that guy in it.
Yeah.
And that's very intentional. Spielberg knows what he's doing, obviously, when he does that. It's
pretty cool.
But like, the guy, if you wanted to describe him, is like, I guess, more describably handsome than Harrison Ford. And he's got more describable movie star characteristics than him. You know, his last line, he holds on it perfectly. He's got a very symmetrical face. He's got like almost like nearly the same build as Harrison Ford. And like, if you were to ask, you know, America, who should star in the Indiana Jones movies, and you basically took like the aggregate of what they said, I bet that guy would get more votes than actual Harrison Ford.
I think we should put that guy in more movies.
But there is something so indescribably
Delicious about a Monte Cristo sandwich.
no, there's something indescribably simultaneously, like you're saying, grounded / incredibly heroic about him, where he's a one of one, where he's like the best looking guy in the room, but everyone also has this relatability to him. And that's really like the definition of a movie star in every shape and form. And rarely do you get movies that actually show you the other version of what that can be other than Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
Or, sorry,
he's
other
bread,
than Last
he's
Crusade.
ham, he's cheese, he's butter. He's sometimes
he's a
has
Monte
powdered
Cristo-
sugar
He's
on it.
covered in powdered sugar,
What's the
and he's
cross called?
delicious.
It's like a name of a city too, or something in San Diego. I don't know.
San
This,
Jacinto.
I'm glad I got us onto this.
But you know what I mean, though.
Yes, I do. He's. I mean, it's weird that like there's something about Harrison Ford that like if you show a guy a picture of Harrison Ford from the '80s where it's like his fits in like France or something.
Yeah, that Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, where
he's
you're
got the loafers and the
and
shorts.
and every
Yeah, that
guy's
fits
like
dope.
I could probably pull that off, right?
Yeah, you can't.
You cannot.
Yeah.
It is impossible. You should not try. But there's something about, like, if I see a picture of Harrison Ford, there's just something about it. It's like, you feel like you could connect to Harrison Ford. If I saw a picture of Jacob Elordi wearing the same thing, I can't do it.
Yeah.
We're not the same.
No.
He's much taller than me, too.
Yeah.
He's very tall. But Harrison Ford, he's smaller than me. I could beat him up. But there's just there's like there's a great humanistic quality to Harrison Ford that is why he's so good at kind of going back and forth between these like different shades of humanity, where it's like he can play the guy that's having this like, you know, extramarital affair, or he can play this like wounded character in like Regarding Henry, or he can play like this the movie I watched last night, Mosquito Coast, like this deranged. He in the hands of another actor, like this character would be tough because it's a Paul Schrader script, which is already like you need a specific guy to play a Paul Schrader leading man. And I saw a review that pointed out that the lead in Mosquito Coast, like this is it's a really great
character.
His character, yeah, is a great balancing act between like Paul Schrader working with Peter Weir.
Such an interesting combination.
Very interesting. Where it's like this main character is much more extroverted than your typical Paul Schrader lead, Paul Schrader protagonist. Like, but this character shares so many of the same insecurities and same qualities as so many of those characters. But it feels like Peter Weir and Harrison Ford are like drawing this out to create a really interesting character that, in the hands of a lot of other actors, would just come off as like a crazy scientist. Because the whole thing is that he's losing faith in America. He's like a genius inventor that's lost faith in America, and he believes like America's headed towards like its capitalistic nature is going to lead it towards like a nuclear fallout. And he moves his family off to this like remote location in Africa to basically start over and like use his his genius.
That's so interesting. That movie's 88, right?
It's 86.
86?
It's right after Witness.
It's so interesting because to me, that plot line is almost reflexive of like what the Pauline Kaels and the Roger Eberts were saying about movies in general, where it's like the capitalistic nature is basically destroying movies.
Yeah.
And
this movie didn't do well.
Yeah, but like, and then Harrison Ford was at the front of it.
Yeah, totally.
And he then transfers into making movies like The Mosquito Coast.
It's really
He takes his movie talents to Africa.
It's interesting that his like immediate follow up to Witness, his only Best Actor nomination, is to work with Peter Weir again and make Mosquito Coast, which is a movie where he plays a really, really flawed man. But like, there's parts of the movie where you're like, I mean, he's writing a great line of like, he's not playing a caricature. He's playing a guy that just thinks he is a genius. And a lot of times you see that he is a genius, but he's also like, he is so up his own ass that he is ultimately like, he's a bad guy. Like, but it's just like, that's another shade of like humanity, like just seeing this ability in himself and just taking it a degree too far, obsessing over it so much and playing like a fatherly figure that just wants to protect his family in such a way that he's going too far.
Yeah.
And I think it's especially interesting in the context of the 80s and its capitalistic nature. Like, and it makes sense that people would be like, oh, Harrison Ford's in a new movie. Let's check this out. The hero of my dreams. Oh, he's a freak.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an absolute freak.
Go back to the Amish village.
Yeah, please. Save that little boy again.
Yeah. Can we use our last few minutes to discuss, I think, our collective favorite out of this bunch, which we have yet to.
Yeah.
We're bearing the lead here. The Fugitive.
Please. Let's please discuss this wonderful
actually,
work.
when we, in our past life of working together over at an undisclosed movie lot here in Los Angeles,
Movie Time Studios.
I, had always, you were like deep into watching like blank check weeks of things. So you'd be like watching some pretty obscure titles sometimes. And I think you ripped the play that back when there was like, he's on the L train. I think you ripped that quote like out of nowhere. And I was like, oh, like, do you like The Fugitive?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I love The Fugitive.
It's just so good.
Turns out nobody doesn't like it who hasn't seen it.
I can't think of anybody that doesn't like it.
A lot of people our age who have not seen. Tanner, have you seen The Fugitive?
Of course.
I feel like there's a lot of people who have not seen The Fugitive who are like in our 20s.
Because it's like one of the best movies ever.
It's one of those things that like if you're doom scrolling on Netflix and you're like, why does everything here suck? And like my friends always have this like joke that there should just be a category called like beast movies. It's just like movies like, oh, it's kind of beast. But
movies for legends.
Yeah. Legends of the pregame. But like that is like the number one draft pick for like just impossible not to just like love it.
Just to turn it on and just be like, I'm in. I'm already in. Like, it just works. When Tommy Lee Jones is like, play that back. I want to hear the sound of an elevated train. And they play back, it's like, next stop. It's so, everything about
Enhance!
That was, I must say, there was a great enhance. I believe in Clear and Present Danger.
Oh, yeah.
There's an A+ enhance. Or is it, it's Patriot Games.
They command enhance like 8 times.
Yeah,
what was it for again?
It's like they're trying to find the Sean Bean, like their hideout in the desert.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, wait.
It's like an aerial photo.
Enhance. And it's like, and he sees it and it's the girl and he's like, tits. And then it goes to the next scene and he's like, I think this is this girl. And I was like, play that back. I want to hear the sound of tits.
Enhance that tit.
It's just like, I love a good enhance. There's great computer tech in those movies. There is in The Fugitive.
Yeah, I was watching. I think I watched like the first 30 today just because I wanted to reacquaint myself with a movie I've seen a bunch of times. But
what's your favorite Will Peters?
Weird Ford movie?
Yeah.
It's The Fugitive.
It's The Fugitive, yeah. I mean, mine's The Fugitive, too, out of even the Jack Ryan ones.
Yeah.
I think that, we're pitching in 89 basically being like, he's going to start playing character roles. I think what we remember, and we were not alive during this really all-time run of Harrison Ford in the 90s, but, like, what we remember, like, looking back on, like, man, why don't movie stars do fill in the blank anymore? Exactly what we collectively are talking about is The Fugitive, an accidental massive hit, but like still a movie that like Harrison Ford, peak of his powers, prime, saw a script. It's like, you're like, wait, I get to play Kimball? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I didn't kill my wife?
You're sure of that?
You're sure of that?
You're sure it was a one-armed man?
Yeah. And it was all about Provasic. And like it became like this movie that like I think now we're like, man, like why doesn't someone like, for example, Captain America, Chris Evans, go back and do something like that, which Harrison Ford has proven that he legitimately did after starring in tentpole blockbusters.
Yeah. It's like he did go from series to series. I mean, and he used that ultimately to get all sorts of different type of roles made.
He's talked about that in that video essay.
And it's, I mean, The Fugitive, I just don't know what else to say.
One more thought.
Delicious, yeah.
Delicious. One more thought before we pitch. That movie, that movie we're talking about, but like all of these movies in general, they're genre movies in a lot of ways. Courtroom thrillers, military thriller. I mean, intelligence thrillers. Or fugitive manhunt thrillers. But they all are movies that are very like programmable in a way where like, you know, like I would come home from school and like see a movie playing on like linear HBO because I had it on cable.
Yeah.
And be like 45 minutes into The Fugitive and I would just be like, oh, I'm watching it now. Like that's kind of what we think of as a rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
Movies necessarily aren't really written that way anymore.
Yeah.
They're either like epics or they're far more disposable in a way where you're actually not supposed to feel like, oh, I'm getting in right before they take out the other fugitive while he's holding Cosmo hostage. Like, they're not made that way anymore, which is why I think that people will have trouble kind of coming into a role like that. Even if they were trying to find more interesting characters, they might be almost too interesting, you know?
Yeah. Or now movies are too specific too, where it's like,
that's what I mean by interesting.
Yeah. Like you can't just jump in. You're like, I needed to see every second of this, and I actually needed to pay attention to things that weren't on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen like Better Man, the Sebastian Stan movie, or The Apprentice.
A different man.
Sorry,
of course, yeah.
I've seen Better Man. But like the Sebastian Stan movie, like that guy made Marvel movies for 10, 15 years, and now he's like, I'm going to do more serious, interesting work.
Yeah,
and that more serious and interesting work
is a movie about a monkey singing.
Yeah. No. But is about very serious and heavy things, you know?
Yeah.
And is not like, man, what a good hang, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the movies like this, especially since they don't play in theaters for the most part, like we're talking about like how this programmable nature of a Harrison Ford movie, like the way that we receive movies like this, it's also I was about to say it's, you know, maybe it's because it's like so many of the Harrison Ford movies set like kind of the precedent or like the bar for a lot of these.
Yeah, and it's like the greatest movie star playing the character in it.
He does set the standard for a lot of these type of movies. But even still, like their formulas do work, and the people within these movies are so committed in a way that you just don't really see as much anymore. Or if you do, you're seeing it on Netflix or Amazon Prime in a way that just like feels like a touch watered down. That I don't know. It's just like
it's cheaper.
Yeah,
the great directors are not working on it. You know.
Yeah, Philip Noyce is not getting his hands on these pictures anymore.
Aww.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I guess Sinners, the Coogler movie's coming out. Like, for all we know, that movie is being painted as like an IMAX epic, but it could essentially be like just a really cool thriller that is playing for many, many years after this.
Yeah.
You know?
Which would be great.
So, you never know. All right, let's pitch.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Who am I for this part usually?
You're the pioneer .online.
You're
The pioneer .online. Yeah. Back in the seat chair. So we're going to do the pitch question.
Oh, boo!
No, we that's good.
Everyone harassed Tanner on the street.
Yeah, throw things at him like candies and toys. He's been so good.
I'm okay with that. So today's question is a little question I like to call Chevy or Ford.
Oh, an SNL almost themed question.
So essentially, this is what I need you guys to do for this bit.
Okay.
One of you has to choose Chevy, and one of you has to choose Ford. The question is going to be a quote, and it's either from Chevy Chase, I don't know if I'm saying that right, or Harrison Ford. Now, you guys have to both choose one, but to decide who's going to choose first,
Okay.
I brought out this magic 8 ball.
Oh, whoa.
Cool. Fun.
So
Props.
You never do that.
This guy's a carrot top over
Yeah.
should Will Peters go first?
here. Yeah, shaking noise.
It's going to say I have a little butt.
A known 8-ball answer.
Indications say yes.
Oh.
So Will Peters is
Okay.
going to choose first. Which one do you want?
So I'm picking.
Or I guess I should probably read the quote first.
Okay, yeah, and then I'll decide who I
Yes.
want. Okay.
Okay.
Who I think said it.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Ready?
You don't have to identify with a car before you.
Like Chevy.
You ain't said one word all night long. What a weird broad. But you'll appreciate me soon. You're going to be hanging on for mercy when I get this sucker rolling.
Huh.
Will Peters, the floor is yours.
That is tough.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. I
think I know what it is, though.
think Ford.
Okay, we've got one Ford.
I think Ford as well.
Well, that's unfortunate.
But like I can't choose it because you already did.
Okay, yeah.
It's really this game's only for one person.
I mean,
You come up with a new game every week and write a review, and you have to beat all the characters on the show. It's hard.
I think it's from American Graffiti though.
It is. It's from American Graffiti, spoken
Okay.
by Bob Falafel.
that's not what I was thinking it
Bob
was from.
Falafel?
That's what parade.com says.
Cool.
So
All right.
If you have any problems,
Take
bring
it
it
up
up
with them.
with the Pioneer.
I've never actually seen American Graffiti,
It's great.
but
And
I just
he's
felt
great
like
too.
that one was from American Graffiti because
I didn't-
broad and cars.
I
Those
thought
are
it was
the
a
two
great one. It felt like it could have 100% been from American.
It could also have been
American
from
Graffiti.
like Fletch. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be from Fletch. Could have been from Foul Play with Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase. Watched that the other night.
For the getting ready for
They
the
could
Chevy
if they
Chase
started a
episode.
movie together. They could do the poster where they're like Ford versus Chevy.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Why don't we get them in more movies now?
pitch them. Yeah,
Isn't one dead?
no.
They're both alive.
Oh, one of them's racist.
One of them's career is dead, but the other one is Harrison
Yeah,
Ford.
no
So-
airtime for Chevy Chase at the SNL 50.
Yeah, he probably had that coming.
He pulled his dick out in that imaginary movie.
What?
Okay, so I go first.
Yep. Are you
Oh
ready?
wait, you need to give a pitch.
A pitch stitch.
Yeah,
Get my dick off this plane.
I was thinking.
that's good.
I didn't pull my dick out.
It's one of those things where in the moment when I came up with it, I thought it was so funny for this to be the pitch stitch.
Okay.
In retrospect, I'm thinking, that's kind of tough.
Just give it to us.
At some point,
He has to fly.
Harrison Ford has to turn into the Red Hulk.
No.
Just at some point.
Hey,
Hey, don't say how you're gonna do it.
Can it be? All right, I got one.
I don't.
What is the? I'm not a comic book guy. What is the current like status of
Color
the
of
Red
the Hulk?
in '89? Is it around?
It's a guy painted green. He's a former wrestler.
No,
his name's Lou Ferrigno.
the Hulk is around in '89. Obviously, is the Red Hulk around in '89?
In the comic books, yes.
In the comics, he is.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
This is. I'm just gonna tack this on at the end.
Hey, don't say how you're gonna do it.
All right.
All right, I won't tack it on at the
Who's
end.
going first?
I go. I'm the winner.
Yes, you were the Ford and the. I mean, obviously the answer was going to be Ford. Come on, this is the Harrison Ford themed episode.
is the
I can't
Chevy
believe,
Chase.
I can't
You're not
believe you got
wearing-
this wrong.
Today's episode is brought to you by KR Drywall. I know what you're thinking. Drywall, movies, what in the world do these two things have in common? Well, Will, when at least I sit and ponder upon pitches, it's always important to start with the right materials. Because an idea is one thing, but making sure the right cast of characters and craftsmen behind it is another. Well, guess what?
What?
It's the same when you're building or renovating a home. And that's where the great people at KR Drywall can help you out. So if you're in the LA area and looking for licensed drywall work on your residential or commercial property, give Kevin a call at 818-626-6590. That's 818-626-6590. KR Drywall, the official sponsor of Elevator Pitch.
When DB Wetwall won't give you what you need because they're just so fucking greedy. Hit him up down at KR Dragwall.
Yeah, fuck you, DB Wetwall. All right,
Fuck DB Wetwall.
now let's get to the pitches.
I got it. I'm ready.
Go.
All right. My movie in 1989 is called Last Defense.
That's a sweet title.
I thought that was good
Work,
too.
yeah.
Because I wanted to call it something else, and then I was like, it needs to have like a name like that would be on a paperback.
Yes.
Okay, Last Defense.
Bold font.
Let me just give you the log line here. The movie that Harrison Ford will do in 1989 is, while chaperoning on his daughter's school field trip to the Chicago Science Center, retired Army General Clay Weston must fight for his survival after German eco-terrorists invade the center with plans to steal a new rare compound and decimate Chicago as we know it.
This is on a field trip?
This is on a school field trip. So, to make it even simpler, this is 1 year after Die Hard. This is Die Hard with kids.
That's great.
As opposed to reconnecting with his wife, he needs to reconnect with his daughter.
Kids, get in the supply closet.
Kids, get in Mr. Nakatomi's science building. Okay, so
Kids, stay in the gift shop.
I want to list you off 3 people that are in this movie. Actually, I want to list you off 4 people.
Do it.
Obviously, Harrison Ford is former Army General Clay Weston. Mm-hmm. Playing sixth grade science teacher, Mr. James Diggins.
The love interest, obviously.
Father of Stefan.
Nope. Denzel Washington.
What?
The same year as Glory.
Oh my God.
This is
young Denzel.
Young Denzel, a young teacher in the city, just trying to bring kids the good news about science. Anthony Hopkins is Dr. Leave Fentonberg.
Okay.
He's obviously our villain. And I wanted there to be another parent chaperone on this trip because they needed 2 parent chaperones. Harrison Ford, he's retired from the Army. He has a very, very, let's say, troubled relationship with his 6th grade daughter, Cindy Weston.
What's happening?
And he sees this up as an opportunity to spend more time with his daughter. Army General Clay Weston's wife has recently passed away as well. Obviously, Clay was, out on the battlefields. He was tending to soldiers, tending the farms. And he was just preoccupied with life in the Army. And he now, as a single parent, needs to make up for lost time.
Yeah.
And I wanted there to be another parent chaperone with him that's used to this kind of thing. And let's just say her name is Karen Allen, who is obviously from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Did they hook up?
In
Like
real life?
Off screen, yeah. No?
I could,
Spielberg's wife?
I could believe that.
No, his
that's
is,
Nancy Allen. Or
No, Kate Capshaw from Temple of Doom.
from the second one. Nancy Allen was Brian De Palma's wife. Excuse me. I
do not like that.
And the director of this movie, coming off of They Live, John Carpenter, 1989. John Carpenter never got to make like a big budget action movie.
Yeah.
And They Live was a nice rebound for him after Big Trouble in Little China was like a little soft. But Harrison Ford was very like, he chose a lot of really interesting directors to work with. It feels like they would have had a fun pairing, and it feels like a movie like this, whereas like Die Hard has a John McTiernan. It needs like a fun director that understands like genre and understands action. And John Carpenter has a very clear understanding of action. He has displayed his understanding of film as a whole many times over. But the movie, how it breaks down, just to give you real quickly, is he's trying to reconnect with his daughter, Clay, here, and he decides to sign up and be the chaperone. And they go to visit the Chicago Science Center. And while they're there, he starts to see these kind of like in Die Hard, he's seeing the people on the in this peripheral where it's like, and he's clocking everything, obviously. He sees everything, and he's like, it's weird. And he goes off, and he's having a look around, and just then all the doors to the Science Center close and lock. Dr. Lee Fentonberger comes out. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how he sounds. You will need to be giving me some patience at this moment. I will be taking just a little bit of your time.
And if can I pitch something to you?
Please.
If they're not in the room, he's also speaking into a microphone that hooks up to all their audio guides.
Yeah, of course.
They're like, who's this guy in the audio guide?
Genius.
My name is Dr. What is it?
Lee Fentonberger.
Lee Fentonberger.
And then it really becomes like Clay Weston is John McClane here. And by the end, he's just trying to win over his daughter's respect and prove that he will go to the ends of the earth. He will kill anybody to get his daughter to love and respect him. He'll even become a Red Hulk if he needs to.
And
that's a post-credit scene, obviously.
Which is awesome.
He gets a weird potion from the Science Center. Maybe the one that Lee was looking for.
Maybe, I don't know. Could be exactly.
Just when they're reconnecting, father daughter, he's like, "Sorry, I'm now Red Hulk."
And that's Last Defense.
Great movie, Will.
Thanks. I thought Denzel and Harrison.
Have they not worked together?
I don't think so. I couldn't think of.
You know what's funny? Harrison Ford never worked again after Blade Runner with Ridley Scott, right?
Yeah.
And then he never worked with Tony Scott either.
I really thought about Tony here too.
Yeah, because that's kind of where, like, if you work with Denzel, you're most likely working with him in a Ridley or Tony Scott movie. That just statistically almost, you know?
Yeah, he did do quite a few.
And I guess Harrison Ford never did that.
He never
other
did.
than Blade Runner. Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen them together. This is the perfect time where Denzel would have been around, and he's been doing supporting work for about 10 years now, coming from St. Elsewhere, Power. He's just done Cry Freedom, I think, Richard Attenborough. And then in 1989, he will win Best Supporting Actor for Glory.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Glory, I first of all, I think it's an excellent plane movie. If anyone wants to go watch it, it's worth watching. It's like aged, but it's worth watching, if only for like how good Denzel Washington is in that movie.
He's incredible. Yeah,
it's like he's so one of the most charismatic people you will probably see on screen in that movie.
Yeah, and you get to watch Matthew Broderick be miscast, I think, for about 2 hours.
Miscast, but like he's supposed to be kind of a pussy, so it kind of works for it.
It's just such a it's so bizarre that he's the lead of the movie.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah. But I do like that movie. Yeah.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
I think it was last week that, like, I specifically said on mic, if not last week, the week before, that who you cast in these movies
doesn't matter.
Does not matter at all.
Yeah.
I fully take that back.
Yeah,
the idea of a Denzel Washington.
dope.
The idea of a Denzel Curry Harrison Ford movie. I assume that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, Denzel Curry would be in this.
Yeah, that's a winning combo for sure.
I just thought, like, can't you just imagine also, like,
everything
Denzel's
fits
like a
about
school
this,
teacher, like, and he's just like, he's the cool science teacher for the kids, you know?
And also Karen Allen as the
and
other.
she's like, trust me, they can be a little rambunctious at first, but honestly, it's a lot of fun to get out of the house.
Is she a love interest?
There is that thought. I don't. It's not a major thing in the movie. I just don't think. I think it's too soon. I think it's more about him and his daughter. But I think,
you
I
like
think they
that.
can flirt.
You like that Karen Allen based on Indiana Jones, and also just like Harrison Ford being Harrison Ford. Like the chemistry is kind of good enough.
It's
to
not,
get us through the movie.
It's not going to be something at the end of the movie where he gives her a kiss, but certainly he's going to do some things where, like,
Maybe
the way
ask
he
her out.
opens a door, he could ask her out.
Yeah.
The way he opens a door, she's going to be like, "Thank you. I've never had a door open."
What if at the end of the movie there's like a sex scene and she unbuckles his belt and then he just turns into the Red Hulk?
Yeah, and he's got a huge red penis. Yeah. What do you think about that?
That
How's that
actually
fan
is a
fiction for you?
perfect. That's a perfect transition into my next point, which is that Matt.
It's me?
Your pitch starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patriot Games, Fugitive, The West Wing, Special Ops Linus, starring Zoe Saldana on Paramount Plus. What do all those titles have in common for you?
America,
English.
English. They're all in English, yes.
kind of patriotic government.
They all are, yeah.
Okay.
But they all do one similar thing, right? They all put a political or a military figure, and then they go, well, their significant other has to also be dope. So what are they always? A surgeon. They're always a surgeon. His wife in Patriot Games, surgeon. Zoe Saldana's husband is a pediatric cancer surgeon.
Oh, fuck.
The First Lady of the United States in West Wing is a surgeon, all right? It is the number one way to make the relationship of your hero in these movies or TV shows of government power. Well, what's the dopest thing that someone could do that they're married to that's not political? Save lives.
Yeah.
So I'm going to flip that on y'all. Harrison Ford in 1989 should have starred in Hippocratic Oath. Whoa. Here's my log line for you.
Buckle up.
Joe Parker, chief brain surgeon at a Seattle hospital, is involved in a car accident. Everyone comes out okay, except for his mistress in the passenger seat, played by Lauren San Giacomo from Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts' friend.
Cool.
Love her. And Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which is the movie that she's done the year before this.
Cool.
His wife, Helen Parker, played by Jane Fonda, is in the midst of a mayoral election. Wow. So out of panic, Joe calls for an ambulance and flees the scene once it comes, only to end up getting the call to operate on his mistress hours later.
Holy shit.
So he's going to operate on her and like try to save her life. And if he saves her life, basically his career is over, his wife's career is over, and there's going to be like malpractice investigations after. So it's like not only the surgery operation of it, that's like the first act. It's also like a very much like Flight or something, like a legal procedural after the fact.
Okay.
So we're getting some courtrooms, we're getting some medical board stuff.
Fun.
But we're also getting the operation.
Cool.
Yeah. This movie is going to add to the long line of great Harrison Ford posters. You know you're like an elite movie star when the poster of a movie is like, this is the Air Force One poster. Harrison Ford is the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is the fugitive, right? Harrison Ford is a surgeon.
Yeah.
Quote, you ready? Would you put your patient's life before your own?
Holy shit.
I was thinking about who's going to direct this movie. I was thinking about someone who has not done much medical work in his movies, but I feel like would love to get into the nitty gritty of it and has done a good amount of people shouting in rooms.
Okay.
One of my favorites. We got a poster of his movie right there. Michael Mann.
Wow.
Yeah. He is, I think.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
He takes a little break between, he goes Thief and then.
Keep.
Yeah, and then but he goes Mohicans like early 90s, right? Like 92.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of window of time where he has not directed a movie.
I think he does LA Takedown in that window.
Yeah,
there
which
for TV.
which then fails on TV. What doesn't happen.
Right.
Yeah, and then he goes, yeah, so like I think Man is kind of primed
That's
for
cool.
something like this.
I like that.
So yeah, our cast is Jane Fonda as his wife.
I like that.
Mayor Power. She's gonna be like a mayoral candidate. Harrison Ford is a surgeon. Joe Parker. And then Lauren San Giacomo. One of my favorites. I think she's incredible in every movie I've seen her in, which is like 3 movies. But
Three's
I like the idea that like they're in the car, opening scene. They're in the car, right? And they're driving, and like she starts freaking out, like she's panicking, like she's like, I'm gonna leak this to the press, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And in that moment where she's like, I've got nothing to lose, I'm gonna blow up your fucking life. That's when the accident happens. So that's why when she wakes up, she would be like, I'm gonna fucking destroy this guy.
Yeah.
And he left me at the scene. Like it's all fucking over for him at that.
Yeah.
You know, so we're flipping the like hero's significant other is a surgeon thing into like, well, this guy probably feels a little inferior to the famous, you know, power planning government.
He needs to get some power back.
Yeah. So he sleeps with Lauren Jan Sancomo
Yeah.
and almost kills her. That's
Been there, done that.
Hippocratic Oath.
Oh, you need it. You need
That
it.
is your time, but
need a
I'll
Red
allot
Hulk.
you an extra 30 just to tell me when he
Turns into the Red Hulk. Man, I always forget, Tanner. I'm always sorry. I forget. I get too into it.
I forgive you. I didn't think that hard about this one.
I think. I mean, I could go post-credit scene. Obviously, fits right naturally in there. Yeah. I think maybe like he gets sent to prison after admitting the truth because he still has a heart of gold at the end of the movie.
Obviously.
And once he's sent to prison, like it's like epilogue, not post-credit, but epilogue. It's like him coming into his cell. He's got like the fugitive beard. He's in the chains, right? And then he meets a guy and he's like, "Hey, I'm your cellmate, Paulie," you know, classic Tacoma prison jargon. And
yeah.
he's like, "Hey, I'm Joe." And he goes, "Hey, what's going on over there with your back?" And he's like, "What's going on with my back?"
No way.
"It's red."
No way.
Then the movie ends.
Yeah.
Which is fucking
Which is like,
awesome.
it's like a teaser. It's a teaser. It's like, did this legal medical thriller end with Harrison Ford becoming the Red Hulk?
Fuck.
You're goddamn right it did.
Yeah.
Well, I just lost.
Yeah. Michael Mann, famously lover of the Red Hulk. Yeah.
It's his favorite character. He grew up loving him.
That's why LA Takedown didn't work. Is they made him cut out Red Hulk. Like, I'll show you.
I'll make heat and there'll still be no Red Hulk.
Aha!
I guess you won again.
All right. Wow. Incredible showing today. I want to say two things.
Okay.
One, Peters, what
Yes, sir.
genre, or I guess this is a question. It's not really a thing I'm going to say.
Yeah.
What genre is your movie?
It's action thriller.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fitting into a pretty specific genre for me.
Yeah.
Like I think Die Hard in itself, and I'm not the first one to make this point, is a genre in itself. I think.
Yeah. It's like it's Die Hard. It's truly like they
Like Speed.
It's like Paramount being like, holy fuck.
Speed,
We gotta make Die
Cliffhanger,
Hard.
Sudden Death.
Yeah.
You know, all these movies.
I was imagining, just while I was listening to it,
Yeah.
Kindergarten Cop? Is that what it's called?
Yes,
Arnold
with
Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger. It's not that silly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely more thrilling.
Especially Carpenter, who's a pretty
Yeah.
serious. I mean, I'm only going off of Escape from New York.
Yeah, he can go dark. He
go
can
dark.
go like there. He does have a lot of like comedic touches to him, which is also in line with Die Hard, like the John McClane like snappiness, the wittiness of that character, which
funny
is something Harrison Ford does pretty well too. Like he is because he's just naturally charismatic.
Yeah, that's
He just-
like his great talk show power.
Yeah.
Is he's like very serious and like doesn't want to be there, but then he cracks like the best joke of the hour.
Thoughtful in his responses. Like,
Yeah.
he always takes like an extra second to think of what to say and then delivers the perfect fuck
thing.
you
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And then
God,
kind of
he's good.
smirks after it.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah. It's great.
Oh, he's good.
The other thing I want to say is,
Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah.
you win.
No.
I win?
Yeah, you win.
No.
3 in a row? Wait, I can't win. Will's was better than mine.
The
I'm
Triple
saying
Crown.
I'm saying it right now.
You just won the Belmont. You just won the other
Preakness.
ones. Yeah.
I thought Will's, when he came out of the gate and he was talking about Harrison Ford on a field trip in an action movie,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, obviously this is going to win. I guess we can let Matt pitch, but, it's kind of a lost cause. But I don't know. That is just like an all-time, like that feels like if we're starting out this episode saying that The Fugitive is the best Harrison Ford movie, this is the yours in two great pitches, I think is the closest The Fugitive comp of like how the feeling of the movie is from a layman that thinks that Captain America Make America Great Again was the best movie I've ever seen. So it really is the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
Well,
Triple Frontier.
I'll take my third frontier.
Yeah.
Brotherhood, country, and honor. Those are my 3 frontiers. But
You can cash this in for property now. 3 wins. It's like, that's
I think I can. Yeah, I
That's
could trade.
collateral.
I could trade them in for a hotel.
you could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Park Place. That was a good Monopoly joke. Thank you. I think like the only difference between this and a movie like The Fugitive is he is inherently playing like not a great guy.
Yeah.
Like he recovers in the end from it, but like this is something that I think he's willing to do in '89, and then we see what happens when he takes on like very heroic roles in the '90s that like he basically just never would. This is the last moment
That he could have
do.
gone
kind of
dark.
like that Mosquito Coast, like
Yeah.
ooh, I want to like this guy, but I can't.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
Yeah. Like even in The Fugitive, he like saves the little boy.
Yeah. He's like a great guy.
Yeah, and like and the prison guard who he threw out of the train is gurneying into the hospital. He's like, make sure they know that he's got a busted Opria Proca tube.
Yeah. I mean,
How do you know that?
How does he know that? He
does
he's
eat a
great-
dying man's egg salad sandwich, though.
I mean, that guy was dead anyway. You know,
It's gonna happen. He worked in an office.
Do you guys notice that? Where he's like, I need food, like this fucking guy does.
Yeah, he stuffs the sandwich and he combs back his hair, he steals all of his clothes.
all his clothes.
It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, he walks out and the cop is like,
Yeah, you seen
and he's like, hey, Doc.
Yeah,
And he motions that he needs to pull his fly up.
yeah.
He's got the fly down.
Yeah.
Can we play The Fugitive right now and watch the entire thing?
Let me check. No, this is just a audio.
Will,
thing.
can there in your movie, in honor of The Fugitive, a movie that's 5 years away from 1989, also like antagonize the Chicago police like to no end?
Definitely. I think. I mean, just like Die Hard would do.
But it's flipped. It's the FBI who's antagonized in Die Hard.
Yeah. Well, it's first it's the cops, and then the FBI comes in and little brothers, the cops, because they're like, we're taking over now, and the cops are like, what the fuck? And they're like, no, we are, and they're like, all right. And so in this, it would be a similar like, the Chicago PD, kind of like they are in The Fugitive, where they're like, all right, we need to find guns and shoot things now.
Yeah,
and
he's like, first guy to get this gets a 12-year-old bottle of scotch. puts a whatever on his beak. Puts a collar on his beak.
Yeah.
I think that's what they say.
Yeah, I think that is true.
Yeah.
And like when Tommy Lee Jones is questioning him, he's like, so you think he killed him for money or whatever? Like he's a doctor, and he's like, well, his wife had more money.
Yeah, she had more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. This is the Chicago PD will be. They will hate this movie. Can I just say?
This
movie that doesn't exist.
No branch of government has ever been portrayed worse. It sounds like other than Make America Great Again World, Captain America. But
That's pretty much what we're calling it.
yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Harrison Ford, you're the man.
Can I ask one final Fugitive question?
Let me check. Oh no.
What did John Mulaney kind of revive The Fugitive through that stand-up bit?
He might have. He might have brought it back all the way.
Like really? Like kind of brought it back.
Yeah. He really did. Because what he nails in that bit is that
who cares about the fucking plot?
Yeah, it's still awesome. Like it's just like you're like, yeah, this plot is ridiculous. And while he's saying it, you're like, it is so
I
good,
gotta watch The Fugitive.
I gotta know more about Pervasic. I mean, but it's watching 4 Harrison Ford movies over the weekend in prep was such a treat. Yeah. I haven't had the thrill of watching movies for this pod to these heights, I would say since Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
I was like every Dunst movie, I was like, I'm loving what I'm getting here.
Yeah.
And Ford is like I already loved. And then seeing like a few movies I hadn't seen from him before, and like he's always, at least in this period, he's always trying stuff. He's a very like naturalistic actor. Mm-hmm. While also being like he is a movie star. Like he has supreme confidence, but he's such a great reactor. He plays off others so well.
It's dope.
He's just the man.
Yeah.
And he's so old.
He's the bread, the ham,
and
cheese, the eggs.
But he's still punching people.
And a little bit of powdered sugar on top.
He's not that.
He's a Monte Cristo sandwich.
He's a delicious Monte Cristo sandwich.
Yeah, but no, I had a great time too. I mean, to cap it off, he has kind of had his hand in every era of movie making since the 1970s, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Auteur-driven filmmaking, tentpole blockbusters, the 90s indie-influenced genre run, and then even in the 2000s, now he's in a fucking Marvel movie 25 years later after a little bit of wilderness in those 2010s. But yeah, I mean, he's the movie star that will live forever.
Yeah, he will.
And bit potted forever. Anyway.
Producer Tanner, what's your favorite Harrison Ford movie, if I could ask?
Indiana Jones 1.
Yeah. It's great.
It's dope.
It's fucking sick.
It's fucking sick.
All right. Indiana Jones 1. Let's do 30 minutes now. We got to get out of here. We got to go watch Morning Glory. So from all of us here at Elevator Pitch, I hope you've had as much fun as we have celebrating the works of Harrison Ford, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe to me.
Thepioneer.online.
Bingo.
Yeah. Subscribe. And thank you, KR Drywall. Bye.